What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got our tier list for the epic players in NBA Infinite. So we're gonna do a tier list for each different rarity, so that way it's just a little bit more easier because there is a lot of players to go over. Say is, as always, tier lists are opinionated. You may or may not agree with this. There is no definite tier list that you should really go by. This is strictly my opinion and how I feel about these epic players. So I know it's small, but I just want to have it small as I'm talking about all the different players. First one we have is Kyrie Irving. Arguably, he should be, or he could be, a legendary player. He has some amazing abilities, and he's going to be our first S tier. This one we have is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, another amazing S tier. Relentless dunk in the drift zone. The drift zone is quite interesting. His play style is a bit weird with the stamina system, where he uses less stamina when he goes ahead and uses fadeaway and drift shots. They cost 60 stamina. And then he has his relentless dunk, which I love as his exclusive. It makes a pass. It increases his teammates' strength attribute. That I think is awesome. Anytime you have a player who's just gonna boost your other player's stats is always amazing. Jimmy Butler, we're going ahead, we're putting him at the S. I still think Kyrie Irving's a little bit better than Jimmy Butler. Next one we got is Zion Williams. This one, another arguably one of the best epics in this game. In fact, during the early access, there's a lot of people complaining that he was super duper broken and he was too good. The hop step jam is almost unguardable and undefendable. He's just such a dominant player in the game because of his high strength and his high dunking power. He just kind of always goes through, and it's really hard to just stop his dunks. This is another one that I'm going to put in the S. I would argue and say he might be a little bit better than Jimmy Butler. Depends on your play style. I like Zion Williams because it's just really easy to play. You just drive by your opponent, you dunk, and it's a hard time for them to try and defend. The Ice Trae is a little bit different from the others. Smaller character model because he is short. He does have really good three-point shooting. I mean, at a rank 1, it's almost higher than a lot of players at a rank 4. Unfortunately, that's all he has is his 3-point. He's a live and die by 3-pointer. So really, you can't do a lot of other things with him, which is kind of unfortunate, which is why I'm not putting him in the S. I think he just kind of really falls off in the aspect of really driving to the lane. He's always going to get blocked. It's very easy to block his layups when he's driving to the lane. It's also easy to kind of block his shot if you do have a taller defender on him. You really have to utilize that pick and roll, or at least have somebody pick the opponent that is guarding him to get a nice 3. But I mean, he makes it rain threes, so it's tough. But I think he's an A for me, only because he's only good with 3-pointing and really nothing else. He's also decent for passing as well, but offensively he's only a 3-point threat. Next one we got is Bam Adebayo. This one, another really solid player. He has this Firefly exclusive as a two-way player on the court. When he moves towards an opponent that is not his matchup, his movement speed is increased. And that's one of the things that I want you to look out for. Is there's certain players that have specific exclusives that increase their speed or increase their teammates' speed, or even decrease your opponent's speed. Speed in this game is insanely important. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, my character feels like he's moving so slow. Well, if you go and you check your stats, more than likely your character's speed is probably not that high. I think he's another solid pick for scoring and also defensive threats as well. Next one we got is Ja Morant. This one, the funniness with Ja Morant, he's quite the character in the NBA with all his shenanigans that he does off the court, right? One of the more easier players to use. There isn't really any difficulty to play him. It's just mostly high speed, decent dribbling, and then you just blow by your opponent and do a crazy dunk and, posterize somebody. That's pretty much what you do all the time. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put him in the A. I'm putting him after Bam because I still think Bam is better, because at least Bam brings more defensiveness. Ja Morant defensively, he's short. He's not really gonna grab rebounds or anything like that at a point guard. There are some other point guards who are like, a little bit better. Next one we got is Siakam. Now, his force field D exclusive is ridiculous. I think this exclusive is so good. Siakam's dunk and shot rate increases at the start of a game. He reduces the rebound attribute of the nearest opposing rebounder each time he grabs a rebound. He also decreases the nearest opponent's field goal percentage each time he makes a shot. This is so insanely broken. I mean, the fact that you're just constantly reducing your opponent's stats because you're doing well in the game it's very devastating. He kind of like scales where it's like a win more, where the better you do with him, it makes it harder for your opponent to kind of catch up. But I definitely think he is an A, not quite an S, but I think he is like better than even Bam. Not quite better than Trae, because I still think, the 3-pointers are they're almost automatic with Trae, but I think Siakam is like, right up there at being one of the top A rankers for his force field D exclusive. Really, really strong ability. Next one we got is Zambonis, the Draymond Green's favorite friend. He's an interesting one. Download director, post commander. He's good in the post. So if you can master the post moves, you can dominate with him. There's a lot of like centers and power forwards who aren't really like very post oriented. They're more about shooting and doing other things, where this guy, Zambonis is straight post. I'm gonna go ahead and putting him in the A. I think he's definitely better than Ja Morant, close to Bam, but we're gonna put him right there for right now. Next one we got is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, aka SGA. We got smooth one-on-one. Honestly, if you're doing one-on-one matches, he's a monster. Aside from his one-on-one exclusive, I don't think he's particularly that great. His traffic jam dominance is a bit weird, right? So like after his drive is blocked, he has an increased shot contest resistance on a normal shot. I don't know. This one just feels like it's lacking compared to some of the other players. And the smooth one-on-one, it really doesn't feel like, it feels like you really have to get a lot of spacing. And that can be really tough, especially when you're playing against randoms. He's like a B+. I don't think he's in the A tier. I just don't particularly like his exclusives and dominance and his skills in general. Catman, Karl Anthony Towns, arguably I would say super duper broken. One of the best epic players in this game. And honestly, it shows in the player market. He is the second most expensive epic in the player market currently. Even arguably put him above Jimmy Butler. His overall stats are just amazing because he can do everything. He can grab rebounds, he can shoot the 3-pointer, he can dunk, he can play defense. You don't really need to worry too much about him stealing or dribbling. You're mostly just using him offensive or defensively as a big man, and he pretty much does all of it. Next one we got is Rudy Gobert. This guy, he's another one that's kind of like very, very niche, and he feels like he's one-sided with his exclusive and his dominance. You got Spike Trap. When he goes ahead and is making a front block, he triggers his exclusive, which is huge block. He's good defensively. He's got some good defensiveness to him, but overall, like 3-pointers bad. His speed is god awful. I mean, he's really, really slow. It's easy to blow by him. Mid-range is not that great either. Steal, dribble, pass. A lot of his stats are just not that great. He's only really like, a blocking machine kind of, really. For me, I'm putting him in the B. Next one we got is PG-13, Paul George. Now, his skills are really, really good. His exclusive, the Brick Wall Baller, reduces the chance of being screened for defense. This is so good because I can't tell you how important it is to master screening in this game. If your player gets screened and you don't get help D, it's like an automatic 3 or an easy drive to the lane bucket. Putting Paul George in the A, I think he's absolutely amazing. I'm putting him a little bit above. I'm putting him above Ja Morant and above Zambonis because I think his defense is just too good in this game, and it makes it a lot easier for you to overall play defense. Next one we got is DeMar DeRozan. Drive and thrive, size advantage. This guy, he doesn't have the greatest skills. This is a player I'm putting in the B. Next one we got is Donovan Mitchell. This is another one who's kind of like, feels like he's kind of lacking with his skills. The tomahawk shock. You know, he just does explosive dunks. That's nothing like crazy. A lot of players have this. The top billing, his posterizer ability is improved. You know, that's it. Like that's nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead. Another one. I'm putting him in the B. I even would put him like below DeMar DeRozan too. I just feel like his skills aren't that great. Next one we got is De'Aaron Fox. He's got some okay skills, but he's another one that's like, he's all right. Juking somebody, and then you're either shooting off a mid-range shot or you're trying to go ahead and dunk. That's pretty much it. There's not anything else defensively. He doesn't really bring anything defensively either. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm putting him in the B. I'm putting him towards like the back of the B. Next one we got is Julius Randle. Now this one, he's only rated a 78 at rank 1, but I think he's really, really good. His strength attribute is insane in this game, up there with Zion Williams, and he has his exclusive when his strength is 100 greater than his opponent's, his contested dunk and power juke trigger rate increases. He's just kind of like really good bully ball player. He's another tough one to rank. He's like a B plus A minus. I'm gonna put him like at an A minus towards the back. Next one we got is Jamal Murray, and this is gonna be my first one that I'm putting in the C because I feel like he just doesn't bring enough to the table to really warrant him as like a good player. Next one we got is Jaren Jackson Jr. Now this is an interesting one because of his exclusive gatekeeper. When his opponent is within a certain amount of feet of the basket, their movement speed is reduced. This is really, really huge. Like I said, reducing your opponent's speed, I mean, that's big in this game. This effect is reset when his target changes. As his block ability is strong, he has an increased block rate. So really good defense, you know, very, very important because it instantly means you're blocking it and you're guaranteed to get the ball instead of just blocking it. And then, you know, the offense can recover the ball after a blocked shot. But I feel, you know, that's all he's good for though, is defense. Really, really good. His block is high, rebound. His defense is insanely high. Threat, I'm putting him in like the B minus. Because his defense is just insanely good. Next one we got is Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday is kind of the same thing where he's really good for defense. His defense is high, his stealing is high, but he also has some good mid-range, so he can at least shoot the ball, right? But overall though, his offense is still kind of lacking. He just is, he's like a slightly better version of Jaren Jackson Jr. You know, a little bit more of an offensive threat, but again, he's really, really good for defense. Next one we got is Klay Thompson. His defense is overall kind of high, but he can't block, he can't steal. So it's just kind of like, you know, he's going to be in front of the opponent. His speed is low. Three-pointers high, but it feels like that's all he really brings to the table. His automatic release is kind of cool. His next three-pointer ignores the base shot contest, but he has a higher chance of being blocked. So this is like a weird one. It's a big gamble. It's like you're either gonna make this three-pointer or you're gonna get it put into the stands, right? It's definitely an interesting one. Overall though, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put Klay in the B. I think he's like, it's another weird one. I'm putting him in like the B minus. Next one we got is Brandon Ingram, small forward. We got launch sequence, which is kind of cool. He's capable of executing various difficult shots, and it's okay. Pinpoint accuracy, his 3-point field goal percentage increases. So this is another one where he's kind of, you know, a little bit below average is what I would say. He's got good mid-range, but overall his skills, not that great. He's another one who I'm like, putting him in the B, towards the back of the B. Next one we got is Jaylen Brown. Now I think he's kind of like a sleeper hit at 77 rating. He's like towards the end of the epics. But I think he's actually really good. He's got his reset step, which is really strong. You know, he has that ability to just kind of really distance himself, and it's hard to guard. It's hard to guard. His dominance, humble pie, he goes ahead. He has easily make the defender stumble. When in dominance, quick juke effectiveness is increased. But overall, his stats are pretty decent. His strength is, you know, solid. His speed's okay. He's got that really good mid-ranger. So, like, I'm gonna put him like towards the front of B. I think he's definitely like better than those, but I'd say he's like close to Rudy Gobert. Next one we got is Lauri Markkanen and pop out. This exclusive is ridiculous. After a pick and roll, he enters a cut in pop out state. When he receives the ball while cutting to the basket, he performs an exclusive dunk with increased dunk rate and posterize rate. I mean, if you can perfect the pick and roll with Lauri Markkanen, you dominate, really. I mean, it's it's hard to defend, honestly. It's really hard to defend. And he also has that strong finish. When he gets a hot hand, he greatly improves his crossover and finishing ability. Overall, I think he's pretty good. He's got some decent three-point shooting. He's one that's kind of close to Jaylen Brown. I'm going to put him right behind Jaylen Brown. Next one we got is Porzingis. I think he's really just not that great. I think the only thing he brings is the solid screener. So I like this. He's really good at setting screens. I mean, like, absolutely insane at setting screens. But I feel like that's all he brings. I'm putting him, he's like a C+, B- for me. Next one we got is LaMelo Ball. This is another one that I don't think is that great. He's all about passing. He's really easy to block his shots. At zoom time and expedited service, they're okay. They're pretty decent skills, but I feel like there's just a lot better players that I would choose. He's another one. I'm putting him in the C. I think he's like a C+. Next one we got is Halliburton. He's another one who's just, he's good at passing, right? He's good at that, and he's got some decent shooting, but that's pretty much it. Weak for defense. Really just no defensive threat at all. No strength. No block, no rebound, no stealing it's okay, but another one that I'm putting in the C. I think he's better than Porzingis, though. I'd say he's like the second best C ranking. And then the last one, and this is going to be quite an interesting one, is Draymond Green. They got him ranked at a 76 rating at rank 1, and I think this is awful because I think he's actually insanely strong with his moves. His exclusive smooth operator, this thing is ridiculous. He's able to use his physicality to create space for his teammates, giving his defenders headaches. So this is just ridiculous. When he's off the ball, he can just collide with the opponent in a 16-foot range on the inside, potentially hindering the opponent's movement. What? So you basically, if you pick Draymond Green, your whole objective is to just run into the other defender and you just knock them over and they just can't do nothing. And then you pass them the ball and you get a wide open shot. You get a wide open layup, dunk, whatever it may be. I think that is insane. The smooth operator, this is just like, wow. Like, you're just basically run into the opponent, throw a haymaker at him at this point, knock him out. That's basically what it is. Pretty crazy. I'm putting Draymond in the A- at the back. He's like, yeah, it's towards the A-. I think he's definitely better than all the Bs because of his smooth operator is just ridiculous. His dominance, he turns up his defense, his collision area increases, and his steal and block abilities improve. So he's a huge defensive threat. Offensively, not that great, but like I said, you don't even need to like, you're not going to really be scoring with him necessarily. You're just going to use his exclusive, just run into the opponent and then free up your other teammate, and it's like easy buckets. We'll go ahead and I'll make the tier list a little bit bigger so that way you can see it in all its glory right there, and I'll zoom out right there. So that is it. That is my personal tier list. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this video. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll try and do a live stream this weekend where we'll play with viewers and we'll have some fun. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.